Hello everybody, this is TF Ultra Goji Fan, aka Hunter here again. Now, this is a video that I have been wanting to do for a while, but due to my own sense of procrastination as well as just my personal life with work and stuff constantly getting in the way, I kind of had to postpone it. But I figured now's as good a time as any. And as you can probably guess by the title of this video, I decided that I'm going to name... I basically am going to name... okay. Basically, I'm saying which dinosaurs are my favorite from which group. The idea is supposed to be that, like, I was originally planning to do a ranking video, and I may still do that at some point in the near future, but we'll see. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. But I decided to be a little more simple with this and, like, kind of go, like, with the herbivores, I'm going based on the different groups. So, Ankylosaurids, Ceratopsians, Hadrosaurs, Iguanodontids, Ornithomimids, Pachycephalosaurids, Sauropods, and Stegosaurids. With the carnivores, I'm going with small, medium, and large there, instead of going by grouping, because that would just get way too complicated. And of course, I'm also including pterosaurs, marine reptiles, and with the release of the Secret Species Pack, we'll also be doing hybrids. Now, I also decided that for this list, I specifically decided that I am not counting movie-based dinosaurs. So, you know, no T-Rexes, no Velociraptors, no Trikes, Stegos, Brachys, Pteranodons, Mosasaurs, Indominus Rexes, any of that stuff. So no movie dinosaurs will be in this video. These are basically my favorites that are favorite species for each group, but also not from the movies. I figured this way it would make it a little more fair, a little more objective. That being said, I am making an exception for frontier designs for certain dinosaurs, since those are, you know, designs exclusive to the games and they're not movie designs. So this means stuff like Giganotosaurus, Dreadnoughtus, Oranosaurus, and Kentrosaurus. You know, the frontier designs can count. Also, you know, I want you guys to comment at the bottom of the video which creatures from which group are your favorite, or if you, and so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So, my favorite, Ankylosaurid. So my favorite Ankylosaur, non-movie Ankylosaurid, is definitely Euoplocephalus, largely because this is an animal that I have always kind of had a strong connection with. It's always been a favorite of mine. You're gonna notice that is a recurring theme with some of the animals on this list, that many of them are on here just because they do, you know, there is kind of some personal favoritism based on my childhood and stuff of that kind of nature. But Euoplocephalus, it's, you know, it's super cute. I've loved it since the first game when it was introduced in the Claire Sanctuary DLC. I think it's got, you know, and again, it's just a classic dinosaur. So next up, favorite Ceratopsid. So my favorite non-movie Ceratopsid is definitely Styracosaurus. Again, this one's another classic from my childhood. Though that said, this was a tough choice. Like Euoplocephalus, I had already pegged down from the get-go, but when it came to choosing a Ceratopsid for this spot, guys, I'm not gonna lie, there was some really good steep competition. Like Pachyrhinosaurus was probably like a couple pinches of salt close to taking this spot, but ultimately I had to give it to the Styrac. Like, again, this is a dinosaur that I just have a lot of like, it's always been a favorite of mine since I was a kid. So, and it's just I love the design. Like, this design looks like it could belong in a movie, and I just think that overall, it's always a go-to for any of my parks. So next up, favorite Hadrosaur. So for this spot, I had to give it to the Mayasa. Now, again, this is another dinosaur that I've always kind of had a soft spot for since I was a kid. You know, with a name like Good Mother Lizard, what's not to love about Mayasa? Am I right? Now, now that being said, I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't like this dinosaur in the game. I think a lot of that is just because Best in Slot said that he doesn't like it. Now, granted, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, and I do apologize, but I'm gonna be as polite and civil as possible. I have nothing against Best in Slot for his opinion. Like, I know he doesn't like Mayasa, and that's perfectly fine, personal preference. But I do think I am one of those people that believes like the only reason so many other people don't like it, like the Mayasa, is just because, again, Best in Slot doesn't like it, and just again, I think it's just a case of people just wanting to be stands for like their favorite content creators. And I've never been the biggest fan of when people do stuff like that. It's like, it's like, don't be afraid to have your own opinion, But again, that's just my opinion on the matter, just what I think, and I'm not saying it's objective fact, but, and again, I'm not trying to start no beef with nobody. So next up, Iguanodontid. And the spot automatically just had to go to Iguanodon. Oh, what the heck? Did it glitch out? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, it did. Okay. Not sure why that happened, but hey, it did. But yeah, so in this case, it had to go to Iguanodon. Particularly, like I said, this is why I'm in specifically the Frontier Iguanodon. Like, I've loved the Iguanodon since the first game. Like, I still think it has some of the most unique animations amongst ornithopods in general. And I just love that this thing in its own way is a tank. Like, it was a tank in the first game, it's a tank in this game. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of like this design more than the actual one we got in Dominion. Granted, I will acknowledge that the one from Dominion is more scientifically accurate based on what we currently understand about the animal. But at the same time, inaccuracies in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World has never really bugged me too much, just because it's like, well, I've already said my piece on this 1,000 times, but like, if anyone's curious, I'll freely explain it in the comments. But yeah, like, honestly, it had to go to Iguanodon. I absolutely love this dinosaur to pieces. It's a classic. So it's like, it just made sense that, it just made sense to have this one as the number one. Alright, next up, my favorite ornithomimid. So when it came to picking... Oh, when it came to...
This downy dinosaur is often likened to an ostrich. Not surprising, I suppose, considering the long neck, the feathers, the beak. It's just a lot bigger in size, huh? But if things go right, something tells me this swan doesn't need to bury its head in the sand.
Probably not, Cabot. Anyways, honestly, it surprised me too that the Dino... I'm gonna be honest, I was surprised myself for picking the Dinokairos, but honestly, ever since this guy got released in the Feathered Species pack, like, I instantly fell in love with it, and after seeing... Like, I feel like over the years I really have grown more and more attached to this dinosaur, and I finally understand why this is a favorite of my buddy Justin. So Justin, this one's dedicated to you, brother. Like, I finally get it. Like, the Dinokairos is just such a cool dinosaur, and plus, you know, it's one of the few herbivores that's not like an Ankylosaur or a Ceratopsid or a Stegosaur that can actually fight back against carnivores. Like, I love its animations. I love the look of it. Like, I love how bulky and tanky it looks and feels. Like, it just has... Like, it looks like a... You know, it kind of looks like a dino. It looks like what I would imagine a Dinokairos to look like. And I will... But yeah, like, this big duck, I absolutely love it to pieces. And I'm happy it came to this game. Next... Pachycephalosaurid.
This flat-headed dinosaur, the Homolocephale, can appear unassuming, and perhaps even cute to some. But let's also stay on top of the science. We can learn a lot from a little.
So, seeing as there were only 2 species of Pachycephalosaurid, well, I say that in air quotes because, again, the whole thing with Dracorex and Pachycephalosaurus and Stygimoloch, regardless, it's like, we're not going to get into that whole debate. So, seeing as there were only 2 species that hadn't been featured in the films to pick from, ultimately, I had to give the vote to the Homolocephale. And for a few reasons. 1, JPOG loyalty, because again, it is a JPOG classic. But 2, it's just a cute little dinosaur. Like, these little guys are so freaking adorable, and I love them. Like, look at this face. Oh. Like, look at this face, folks. I would willingly commit atrocities for this face. I would. But yeah, I absolutely love these little guys. They're adorable. And I always, like, especially when I'm doing a JPOG theme park, I always feel like I have to include them in some capacity. Like, I just love them to pieces. Like, they are just so freaking adorable. And it's great to have, it's fun. It's always great to have, like, small, cute dinosaurs. So next up, favorite non-movie sauropod. Sorry about that. So, this spot, honestly, I had to think long and hard on this one, and honestly, Diplodocus just won single-handedly. Like, it was close, though, between Camarasaurus, Alamosaurus, Nigersaurus, and Amargasaurus. It was tough, but honestly, I feel like the Diplodocus just had to win out, just because, like, Again, I've always loved Diplodocus. It's a fan favorite of my childhood, especially because of walking with dinosaurs, which I'll also admit the fact that the design feels very influenced by walking with dinosaurs, I'll admit that also kind of earns a little brownie points, but honestly, I just think it's a super cool dinosaur. I love the look of it, and it's always one that as far as non-movie dinosaurs go, especially for sauropods, it's always one that I go for in my parks. Like, it's just a cool dinosaur, and again, it's one of my all-time faves. Favorite Stegosaurid. Not gonna lie, guys. Oh.
Don't spend too much time looking at those plates. When it comes to the Wertosaurus, it pays to keep an eye on when they stand in the Stagomizers. You don't want to be on the receiving end of the swing of that tape.
Thank you, Lambert. Not gonna lie, guys. This was a tough one because, this was a tough one because I kept going back and forth between this guy and Kentrosaurus, specifically the Frontier design. Again, just to reiterate my rules. But honestly, and Kentrosaurus, again, came very close to taking this spot. But ultimately, I had to give it to the Wurosaurus because, like, this has always been a dinosaur that has fascinated me because of the fact that, like, it was one of the last Stegosaurids to roam the Earth. And plus, I just love the overall look of it in this game. I think it has some really good skin and color pattern combinations. I just love the look of it. I love the sounds. This is one that admittedly I always go for in a lot of my parks, and I'm honestly glad to give it the spot. Now we get to carnivores and hybrids specifically, but first with carnivores. Now, I'm going to be honest here, folks. Again, this was the choice. Picking one for each category for carnivore, small, medium, and large, was not easy. But I think you'll be happy with the results. Small carnivore.
This one takes us back to prehistoric Utah. I definitely wouldn't want to meet this raptor on a camping trip, would you, huh? Because if his distant relatives or anything to go by, the Utah raptor will make a meal of anything it can get its claws on.
So yes, my favorite small carnivore, hands down, and again, this was a hard one because there were some really good ones to choose from. But in the end, I had to give it to Utah Raptor. Because just, my god, this thing looks gorgeous. Easily one of the standout picks from the Cretaceous Predators pack. Like, again, this was a dinosaur that had always been on my wish list, and so when it got added to the game, I was more than ecstatic. Just, I love the overall look of it. I love the color. I love the skin patterns. I love the colors. I honestly love the sounds, even though they're deeper pitched Velociraptor sounds. That doesn't bother me. I love the overall feathered look of it, where it looks like a big scary bird of prey. You know, it literally looks like a 6-foot turkey, essentially, as the kid from Jurassic Park would say. But just overall, Utah Raptor almost easily took the #1 spot. Medium. Medium is premium. So yeah, the #1 spot for medium for non-movie medium carnivores had to go to Majungasaurus. Oh, right, you guys need rocks. Hang on, I can fix that real quick. But again, like, this was a tough pick, like, because, like, there's so many good medium carnivores. Like, I was constantly going back between Cryolophosaurus, Albertosaurus, Gigantosaurus, Suchomimus, Metriacanthosaurus, Megalosaurus. There's so many good ones, but honestly, I had to give it to Majungasaurus because it's also one of my favorite dinosaurs IRL. Like, I just think it's a really cool dinosaur, and anytime it gets represented in media makes me happy. I think just because it looks so unique. I love the look of it in this game. I love this. I don't mind the stock grizzly bear sound effects they use. I think they work for it pretty well. Just overall, fantastic dinosaur. Large carnivore. And the spot goes to Giganotosaurus, specifically the Frontier version. I just overall love this design. Again, I don't hate the one from Dominion. It's serviceable, but honestly, I would have much preferred if it looked like this in the movie. But that's beside the point. Like, it was really tough to pick between this guy, the Carcharodontosaurus, and the Acrocanthosaurus. And not gonna lie, Acro won by almost this much. Like, just almost millimeters apart, but honestly, the Giga just won out for me. I just think the Giga has some much better skin colors. I think the patterning works a little better for the Giga for me, though that's not to say the Acro is terrible by any means. But yeah, just overall, Giga's a solid dinosaur, and it's my favorite the Frontier Giga is my favorite large carnivore that's not a movie design. Now we get to hybrids, which again, like I said, I am thankful for the secret species pack giving them to us. Sorry, that was English. Now granted, 4 species of hybrids I had to discount because, well, they're from the movies or, you know, the movie universe with Camp Cretaceous. So, you know, that just left the 3 from the first game, you know, Jurassic World Evolution 1. And so for my favorite hybrid, it had to go to Spinoraptor.
I hope you know what you're letting yourself in for, because there's not much room for error when it comes to the Spinoraptor. What do you expect? We're talking about a Spinosaurus and a Velociraptor all rolled into one.
That's true, Cabot. But yeah, Spinoraptor, this was a no-brainer for me. Like, this was my favorite hybrid from the first game with the Secrets of Dr. Wu DLC. And so when it was announced that this guy was coming back with the secret species pack here in Jurassic World Evolution 2, I was more than ecstatic. Like, I love the new animations, I love the new skin patterns, I love the Lux skin patterning system. I think that is really cool. Just like, they just touched it up just enough to where it feels new, but it still feels classic. So there's really not much for me to say without gushing like a total fanboy. So now we move on to my favorite non-movie Terrasaur. Honestly, not gonna lie, this was also a hard one to decide because there's so many good pterosaurs, but honestly, I think it had to just go to the Barbarodactylus, just because it has some really unique skins and pattern colors. Like, it is just, this is a pterosaur that's just fun to mix and match colors. I especially love the default skin pattern combo here with, I think, yep, Mangrove Forest and Rana. Just, oh my, like, I know for some people, like, the webbed crest on the back is a little speculative, but honestly, I don't mind. I think it looks pretty cool. just overall a really solid Terrasaur. And so we come to the last spot, my favorite marine reptile. Again, this was not an easy one, like, because I constantly found myself going back and forth between which one I like, which ones are my most favorite. Like, not gonna lie, Archelon and Tylosaurus almost won out a few times, as well as Styxosaurus, but honestly, I had to give it to my beloved Kronosaurus because I always come back to this dinosaur. Well, again, marine reptile, I'm not technically a dinosaur. I mean, come on, with a name that means Kronos Lizard, I mean, that name is just metal, so how can I not love this thing? But just, my god, just, it looks so good. My favorite skin pattern is definitely Yukon River with, I think it's Papu Rana with the white? You know, it gives it a very killer whale kind of look and motif to it, which, always cool. I love killer whales. I also just love that it's one of the few animals other than the Mosasaurus that can interact with the shark feeder, which this one is about to do. Awesome. I'm just going to shut up for this real quick. Nice. But yeah, like, I love the fact, like I said, I love the fact that it's one of the few creatures other than the Mosasaurus that can interact with the shark feeder, and it and the Mosasaur were the only ones that did for the longest time until the recent inclusion of the Dunkleosteus with the marine species pack, which, you know, I know a lot of people were disappointed that we didn't get Megalodon, but honestly, I'm okay with Dunkleosteus. Like I love Megalodon as much as the next prehistoric enthusiast, but at the same time, I also think the Meg is kind of overrated. Hot take, I know, but again, that's just my opinion. And that's gonna about do it here, guys. Like, hopefully, I didn't waste too much of y'all's time. Hopefully, you know, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with my picks? Do you have, like, which are, you know, do you disagree? Like, do you have, you know, is there an animal? Like, what are your favorites in each of these categories? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Like I said, I may also do at some point in the future, like I said, I might do a ranking of all the creatures based on, like, different categories and stuff like that. Let me know if you guys would like me to do those. If I do, I might do those as their own separate videos, just so that it's not one big long video. But, you know, as always, let me know what you guys think. I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. To many of my friends, such as Dectunix, you know, I would love to see you guys do, like, your own responses, like even like a video response to this, similar to this, maybe with a little more professionalism, but again, up to you. But, you know, just again, always let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.